Welcome to Locker Room Sports Talk.
Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to Locker Room Sports Talk. I'm your host, Big Matt. Thank you for coming by and hanging out with me today. We got plenty to talk about today, so just jump right in and grab yourself a nice cold drink, and we're going to talk about some college football. We got two quarterbacks, elite-style quarterbacks. It's going to match up Saturday. I had to bring this game up because it's about the only game that's even on this weekend. There's not a whole lot of good games, so we'll look at some of them. We're going to break down Alabama, talk about where they're at and the misfortune that the fans feel like the team is in, which is fans being fans, which is short for fanatic. And we're going to talk about La Monroe, the team that they're going to play. Ball State's going to match up with Auburn this weekend. We got some times and time slots for where those games are. And I found out a little bit about Coach Vincent over at La Monroe. Pretty interesting stuff. So let's hit the peanut gallery, see where everybody is at, what we got going on today. Jeff, what's going on there? New AP poll, D is number one, which they should be. They won a big game. They're the returning champs, and that's what you want. You want I always thought the returning champs should kind of not fair to them probably, but them to be able to, they should be number one. And they're the champs. So let me go over here and share this on the other page here. Let everybody else kind of jump in. All right, there we are. Okay, so I guess first off, we'll talk about let's talk about these two matchups this weekend. Then we'll do some AP poll and we'll do Bama, Auburn, and a few other good games. But this is interesting. The two elite quarterbacks is going to match up for the weekend. You're going to want to stay tuned and hang out and find out who it is. Make sure you're subscribing to the channel and hit the thumbs up too. It's very easy just to hit the thumbs up right there. All right. So first of all, Michigan and Oklahoma game. This is the game that we're going to be talking about. 6:30 on ABC. The Sooners and the Wolverines. Well, Michigan's got a top-ranked five-star quarterback he was actually locked in at LSU for some time, and he decided to hit the bricks, and he took off and decided to go to Michigan. Well, because about $10 or $12 million that'd probably do it for me too. Bryce Underwood, he was 21 for 31 this week, 68% percentage for his completion rate, 250 yards and a touchdown, 6'4", 230 pounds. For me personally, I was never on the Arch Manning train. Never been I don't know. I think he's just good, and his name is carrying him way too much weight. I think Arch will probably have a fine year, and they'll probably win. I don't know. They'll win 8-9 games or so. About like everybody else probably this year. It's really unfortunate, and I don't know if Michigan enjoys that Bryce is flying under the radar and he's not getting a lot of talk, and maybe that's what they want. Maybe they want a guy that's not getting a lot of talk. Bryce Underwood at Michigan, I'm telling you, man, look, he threw 31 passes and had a couple of drops. He didn't overthrow. He didn't really have any bad throws. He took care of the ball. I'm telling you, if you're looking for the top quarterbacks in the nation, you've got to put Bryce Underwood on there. You have to. I did a spot on him and the kid that's at Oregon now, Deontay Moore. These are really good quarterbacks. Arch took all the headlines. It's going to be a very interesting matchup. 6:30 on ABC, Michigan and Oklahoma. Now, Oklahoma's QB, 6'1", 225-pounder. They are favored by 5.5, and it may go down as the week goes on. He was 30 for 37, 81% completion percentage. He threw for nearly 400 yards, had 3 touchdowns. He rushed for a touchdown 24 yards rushing also. John Mateer. Some people have Mateer as their Heisman guy, and I don't even know if I don't even know if you even need to say that Mateer is a dark horse anymore. I don't know. Some people was really high on him, and Underwood's not getting a lot of attention. And like I said, I don't know if, is Michigan, are they encouraging him not getting a lot of attention? I'm telling you, this guy is just go look at him. Look up a picture of this Bryce Underwood, 6'4", 230 pounds. He looks like Derrick Henry. I mean, he's big. He's a Derrick Henry, like linebacker, like big running back kind of guy. He can throw it all over the place. He won all kind of camps and stuff, and he was committed down to LSU for a while. But Portnoy, big Barstool Sports guy up north, paid him supposedly like $10 million. So him and McAteer are going to be the ones they're going to square off this weekend. He threw 250 yards and touchdown. Then Mateer threw for almost 400 yards and 3 touchdowns for Oklahoma this past weekend. And Oklahoma is favored this week. This is going to be a real big showdown. I'm interested in this game. I want to see how quarterbacks that, I don't know, I guess us normal media people, like, small and mid-chain media people, not like the ESPN and stuff, because they're not talking about this game. Really, they're not talking about these quarterbacks. You're going to find people talking about this game like over on SEC Network, some of the smaller shows on their platform, not small like our show here. I'm just telling you, that's I'm curious to see how these young guys take on the challenge of being responsible for in the game. Yep, game day is going to be there too. It'll be the first game day without Corso. So I'm just telling you, if you want to tune into a game, it's going to be 6:30 that night. Not a lot of. There's a few good games here and there. We're fixing to talk about them and look at them. Then we'll get into the AP poll and talk about Bama and Auburn also. Some other games to talk about. That's probably the most interesting game of the weekend to me. Baylor's at SMU. It's on at 11, so that's going to be your early game. It's going to be on the C-Dub. You can find it over there. Iowa and Iowa State, pretty good game. Also at 11 o'clock, it's going to kick off over there on Fox at the same time. So you probably flip back and forth. If you got YouTube TV, you can hit the multi-view and it'll put up these games here all in the corner. Ole Miss is going to be at Kentucky. I just put it down. It's an SEC matchup, and it's an SEC matchup. Man, Kentucky's bad. Ole Miss should beat them bad. Simpson, their QB, he is another real deal quarterback. Man, Arch just totally dominated all these summer topics and headings and books and magazines and headlines. There's a lot of these freshman quarterbacks, man. There's a lot of good quarterbacks in a lot of other teams. I mean, the kid out there at Baylor's not terrible. I mean, he threw for 3,000 yards last year. He threw a good game against Auburn. They just don't have no defense. They can't stop nobody. But this Simmons kid, the QB at Ole Miss, 6'4", 215 pounds kid, played in Miami, Florida down there. He was 20 for 30. They beat the brakes off this other team. 340 yards, 3 touchdowns. He did throw 2 picks. Also, another game probably worth mentioning, I guess. It's going to be on SEC Network at 3:15. South Florida at the Swamp, at the Gators. Both teams are 1-0. It may be an interesting game for a while. So if you watch Ole Miss and once that game gets away from them, probably, and Simmons goes and throws for 200 yards before halftime, you may want to flip it over there to SEC Network. South Florida at the Gators. I think it'd be a good game. And then Gators fans, Mark Barrington, sorry guys, enjoy this game. They should win this game. South Florida's not bad, man. They are not bad at all. Then Florida goes to LSU, then to Miami, and then not just the next two. I think then they got like LSU and Texas. Texas, and then another. Florida's got a schedule, man. I'm telling you right now. Florida has got a terribly tough schedule. So the Gators will be hosting South Florida at 3:15 on SEC Network. Again, Ole Miss will be at Kentucky. They're going to play at 2:30. Simmons, quarterback, Ole Miss, real deal. Mentioned Bryce Underwood at Michigan. That's the two elite squares off this weekend. Mateer there at Oklahoma. That's the matchup, man. I want to see how these young guys, these young guns, manage the team. So that's kind of that for those games. Now, let's look at the old AP poll while we got everybody on here. Hey, make sure you are hitting the like button. Subscribe to the channel if you hadn't already. I sure would darn appreciate it. Just hit the little blue thumb, Facebook people. See right there, bam. YouTube, just hit the thumbs up. I sure appreciate it. New AP poll. Who's mad, who's glad, and who's sad? And I guess it really don't even matter much about the other ones. Yeah, I did mention that. Iowa at Iowa State's on Fox at 11. I think that'll be a good game too, Jill. I think it will be. Says he could break Hayes' record for the most wins by 235. Big Ten coach. The Ohio State Buckeyes. Those stink eyes at number one have zero problem with that. Defending champs, they didn't play their best game this year, but it is the first game. And people can't freak out about the first game. It's the first game. Teams are going to have snags and bad spots here and there. And, you know, people have new coaches in, and they're trying to figure out their team. And, you know, everybody don't play cupcake teams, and everybody don't get Austin Peay and McNeese State to start the year. And Ohio State plays supposed to be. I didn't think so, because I had Texas ranked 5 in my preseason. The Texas Longhorns, and Arch did probably about as good as I guess you could think, is throwing him in the lion's den, literally in the shoe. Game one, real boy, big panties, get him on, big start, and it's time to go get it. Get it, go, mama. And he just did about like you would think any other normal, decent quarterback would do. Had a lot of trouble. That's a hard place to play, man. You go into a traditionally known, well-known place that maybe, you know, they just won it. They're going to pack the place out. I mean, if Florida State can pack their place out and scream F Bama all night, it's going on the road's hard, man. Penn State at 2, don't have any problem with that one at all either. I have them 1 in my preseason. Now it's week 1. Week 2, really. I would probably like the LSU at 3, Georgia at 4, Miami at 5. Miami played a good game, man. I picked the old Golden Domes. I shouldn't have. I figured that the 9th-ranked Notre Dame, that the Irish there could get their what's that, Mark? I figured they could get their game ready. The speed of the Ole Miss, the speed of the Ohio State defense is, yes, that's gonna win them some games. It's speed. Write that down. Remember it. Stamp it on your forehead. From high school to flag football to pro football, the game as you know it is not the same. We don't need Dante Hightowers plugging holes and rocking helmets anymore. That game's over. Everybody's got a running quarterback. You got to be able to run sideline to sideline. And Ohio State has the guys to do it. Finishing out there around the top 10, Texas 7, Clemson 8, Notre Dame 9, South Carolina 10, Illinois at 11, Arizona State at 12. So today, football shut down and the season's over. Who's playing who? Well, your first 4 is out. 5 plays 12. So we're going Miami's going to play Arizona State. I dig it. I like it. 6, Oregon plays 11, Illinois. I'm interested in that game. 7 plays 10, Texas and South Carolina. Interesting. And then Clemson and Notre Dame play. Well, guys, check out that playoff today. Who's interested in that? And then the winners of those, you dig those out of that one, and whoever let's just say the top 4, which Ohio State and Penn State can't, LSU, Georgia can't. So we'd have to bump Oregon up and bump Clemson up. So Clemson represent the ACC. They're the highest ranked. No, Miami's the highest ranked ACC team. LSU's the highest ranked SEC. And Miami is, of course, highest ranked ACC. And the Big Ten would be highest ranked. So Ohio State. So you could scramble that around a little bit, and you'd probably have to add 2 in there. It would be Florida and Florida State. So, probably get like a Oregon and Florida State play, and maybe a Texas and Florida, which are going to play this year. Maybe Illinois and Notre Dame or something. South Carolina. They'd probably have to pull in a Michigan or something there. So that's, if you shut it down today and that was the 12, that's pretty good representation. It's got a good overall basis of most of all your conferences. Who would I like to see in there? Who would I like to see? Somebody in the top 20. I need to see Oklahoma play Saturday. I know Mateer, we just went over him. He had a bunch of freaking yards, man. He threw, they didn't play nobody, but most teams didn't. I could see putting Oklahoma, somebody in the top 20, adding somebody else in the 12. But we got a long way to go. So to finish out here, let's go over here from 13 on to 25. The Gators at 13. Florida State jumping on the list from out of ranked to beating the 8th ranked Tide. Bumps them to 14. Michigan at 15. Iowa State 16. SMU 17. I think that's a little high for the SMU. Oklahoma 18. 19 is A&M. 20 is Ole Miss. I'd probably have Ole Miss a little higher. I could see swapping Ole Miss and Florida State, just being real honest. Because we don't know. There's still so much we don't know. And by watching them play, I think Ole Miss is a better team than I think they're probably better than Florida State. I'm just saying. That's just me talking. Yeah, A&M right there too. They struggle with UTSA for the greatest position for the portion of the game. Mark says. Still not sold them just yet. Yeah, it's week 1. I ain't burning anybody down on week 1. I'm just not. It's the first game, really, real games. I'm not going to burn anybody down. So that's kind of top 20. Now finishing out the 5. Bama tumbles 13 spots or so. I had Bama ranked probably like 14 or 15. I couldn't have put them in the top 12 with that performance. There's no way. No way. We all know. It's kind of like the question about, they talk about Anniston football. Shout out Coach Jackson. Great guy. Man, he's a good Christian guy. Really cares about the kids and stuff. But we talk about them a lot around here in the area a lot. If they ever march in one direction, they would probably win state. They always got great athletes. It's kind of what you feel about Bama this year right now for one game. Dude, they got 5 stars all over the D-back field. Now, this is some of them second year and 2 or 3 of them third or fourth year. And then there's a few that string in and out, about 3 or 4 others. This is their first year of college football. So they got the talent. They just got to get it together. And that's on the coaching staff and the players. They got to decide what they want to do. Tennessee at 22, Indiana at 23. Why, I don't know. I would never rank them until they can beat a ranked team. Never. I just don't like Indiana. I don't like Signetti. I didn't care for him when he was helping Saban at Bama. I just don't. I mean, everybody just likes coaches who they do and who they don't. I'm not a Hugh Freeze fan. Just not a fan. I just don't care for him. Texas Tech at 24, and the Utes rounding out the top 25. Also receiving some votes this week was BYU, Auburn, Georgia Tech, USC, Louisville, TCU for beating North Carolina, blowing the britches off of old Belichick, Missouri, South Florida, Tulane, K-State, Duke, Nebraska, Liberty, UNLV, Baylor, Memphis, Navy, Pitt, and Virginia will also add some votes for getting on the list this week. So what does this really mean? Nothing. It don't mean nothing, guys. That's just something to go by. It's just something to talk about. We spent about 7-8 minutes with it. That's about all it's worth. Because there's this 1 week. We just don't. There's not enough. I don't have enough evidence to start running people up the pole and saying how great they are and how great they're not. Or I just don't. I don't have enough evidence. We can say who looked good. Now you can have a power ranking. What's up, Brad? Yeah, I think so. It's week 1. I'm not a doomsday guy. Now there's fans out there that are. I don't think I'm a fanatic fan. I have a pretty good realistic view because I study this stuff a lot, and I've studied a lot about a lot of the teams, and being around it, sideline, locker room, wherever I've done it, been around it, and I'm just not a freaking out kind of guy. I mean, personality. If you got people that know me, when something bad goes down, I'm not the one that, screams and runs and we need to call the ambulance right now. I'm the one that's like checking the scene and make sure everything's safe. We need to set this up. We need to rope this spot off. And I don't think it helps to panic. And we can talk about that. We'll talk about Bama. Back to basics for Alabama. Thank you guys for coming by and hanging out with me. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe button. Appreciate it. So things that fans must stop saying for Alabama: fire the coach. He's bad. We have no use for him. Coach DeBoer has no enthusiasm. Stands over there like a mute. Just getting mad and throw your headset or something. Why don't you just say, hey, why don't you be Nick Saban? Because we're too immature as fans and too selfish to realize that there's a 70-year-old man that's given his life to football. He's retired. Leave the guy alone. Saban's not coming back. You appreciate him for what he did here, but stop comparing him to everything DeBoer does. Well, when Saban sneezed, he said, "Excuse me." DeBoer says "Kazoon tight." Freaking idiot. Clown. What does this freaking guy know? What is he doing up here at Bama? You see this goddamn hoodie he's got on? He's got on a freaking T-shirt with a hood on it. Run him out. Do you really see how that sounds? Do you see how you look? Stop doing that. Saban was not perfect. He won a lot of football games because he had a great staff and he had the best players that he could recruit because that's what he was good at. He's good at making relationships with parents. And you can sell the idea to come to Bama and I'll give you a nice gold road to the NFL to get paid. That does not really exist anymore. Welcome to college football 2025, where kids get paid to play like crap. They don't have to wait in line and to get better. They don't have to know about the process or the standard. they're getting paid whether they hold up the standard or follow the process. If they're playing at UTEP or if they're playing in Alabama, it don't freaking matter. And not everybody's making millions. There's some fat boys out there like me and Brad here. We don't really get paid. College football's over, so stop comparing DeBoer. Stop comparing anybody to Nick Saban. Well, by God, he was down there. If Saban was at Auburn, he'd won every game. I mean, he's the GOAT. He can win them all. Yeah, I guess, but he's not. Stop. Don't compare any coach at all to Nick Saban. Don't. It's not fair to them. It's not. It's not. I mean, Freeze can't even win the games like Gus did. And they run Gus off for going 6-6. Freeze only won 12 games in 3 seasons now. How many conference games they've won? So don't. They're their own people. And just because Freeze don't pick his nose like Gus does, and just because DeBoer don't throw his headset and break it and go nuts, that's just how he is. So that's the first thing. It's just week one. DeBoer's coaching style is different. To me, this is what it is. This is what it is. Yeah, great stats, man, but he's a winner. He's still a proven coach. And some fans of other schools that just enjoy Bama losing more than they enjoy their team winning because their programs are failures and they have nothing to really get up for on Saturday. They just are thrilled on the excitement of Alabama. Maybe they'll fail, but your team's playing also. Well, okay, I'll watch that, but maybe Bama will fail. That's the jealousy and the hatred that's been there forever, and it's going to always be there. So, yes, those are great stats, Stephen. Cool. They are. So, the next thing is DeBoer reminds me of he's like these are not all his kids still. And there was an interview with Sab, and Sab talking about the difference in the playbooks from Saban to Womack. Well, he changed the style of defense. This 4-2-5 is a more swarming style of defense where you're going to have another guy, a bandit position up on the line. And by theory, it's supposed to be better for more modern day style football where RPO game. And when all you do is just really have a running quarterback, you don't throw it like Vanderbilt, Auburn, Florida State, where Gus plays, they're not going to throw it much. I mean, Arnold and Castellana and Pava, those guys are going to throw about 10, 15 times a day. Or Simpson's going to throw it 30 times a day and have 250, 300 yards passing. It's different. So that style that Womack has is supposed to be better for that. Supposed to be. Last year, they improved for the year. They moved up in the defensive rankings for sure. And are we all crazy about it? It's still out, man. I don't know. This is just year 2. I don't have – we got what we had last year. And the offense let Bama down so much last year not to score when the defense would have a good game like the Oklahomas, then the offense couldn't score. And then defense played bad against Vanderbilt. That then, the offense was scoring, but then the defense couldn't stop nobody. So we don't know. But here's the thing. DeBoer, to me, it's just me, when he's talking to the guys, and I've seen different videos of him on the field with them, in the locker room with them, it's still just too fresh, man. And it would have been, this is mean to say, and I don't mean it this way, but just ride along with me. I need to say this the right way. I'll just say it. If Nick Saban would have passed away, God rest his soul, it would have been better for the players in the long run probably than him just retiring, and he's still around. Y'all know what I'm saying? It would have been that way because he would be gone. I mean, he still lumbers around. He'll come by once a week and put on his, little floppy sun hat, and he'll probably go down the field and just kind of watch. And when practice is over, maybe, grab a few of the guys that he knows, because those are still some of his guys, man. These are all not DeBoer's people. So DeBoer, to me, feels like the stepdad. Like, he's a good stepdad. I had a good one. He worked all the time, took care of me, fed, made sure I had clothes. But there's always, you respect him, but he's really not your dad. It's kind of hard to put you, if you're not a step parent or a step child, you don't really understand what I'm saying. There's just something there. And I think that's what the difference is. They feared really what Saban would do or how he would handle situations with them, and literally getting on them and chewing their tails. And they knew he controlled where they went and pro-wise, for the draft type stuff, because he knows everybody. He could pick up a phone and dial and call any coach in the NFL. And DeBoer's like trying to get on to him. They're like, well, whatever. Oh, okay, you're going to make us run or something. Okay, whatever. Ryan Williams, he dropped 2 or 3 passes a day. Well, wait a minute, you going to run me? I got $1 million check for my NIL. I'm good. And I'll finish with this. And we'll go to the peanut gallery here. And this goes for anything in life. Guys, I'm speaking to you. If you're in the middle of something, or if you're trying to start something new that you're wanting to stem out into it and do a side job, or we got some young guys watching. The Bama players, I'm speaking to them because it's not fair, really. Florida State won the game, man. Mike Norvell's team, he tore the whole team down. They won 2 games. He tore them all down. All new coaches and new players, everything fresh and new paint job, rims, speakers, underbody lights. And we're sitting talking about Alabama. Why? Because Florida State ain't been relevant in 15 years since they beat Auburn for the title. I mean, it really hadn't. So lastly, this is the why. Why? That's what we're talking about. It's not fair, like I said, to be talking about Bama. Florida State won. Hats off to them. You got to congratulate them. So that's the last question. Alabama players, Fitzpatrick and Kirkpatrick and them, I'd messaged them on Twitter, and, they're saying some stuff on Twitter, and I told them, hey, I like your words. I like where your energy is, but it's just advice I give young guys that I've coached around here. What's your why? If you go into something and you don't have a why, when you're laying in the floor on your forearms, planking, and sweat is pouring off your face and pooling on the floor, and you don't have a why, it's hard to hang on and be angry enough to push yourself to a different gear to cut off the pain, just to cut it off. And if you didn't play, then you don't know. You don't know what I'm talking about. To know that you got to go compete, and you're going to win every down. You're going to win every inning. You're going to win every lap. You're going to win every set. Volleyball, basketball, all of it. You got to have a why. And that why includes life too. Why? Trent Richardson said today, go check out the Dynasty podcast with McCarron and Trent Richardson. It's a good show. I like watching him, and AJ goes on with McCready and Siski too. And AJ's is going to be, by God, straight truth. He says stuff like I do. It's just this what it is. Hey, Bama, you got it handed to you. You go across the field and shake their hand. You go back to the locker room and you freaking figure it out and get better, start holding people accountable. But Trent talked about his why was he wanted to make sure his kids are going to eat. My why was my mom's got to get out of that house. I got siblings depending on me. I've got to make it. And if your why, this is what Trent said, last point. And Trent said, you cannot let their why be bigger than yours. And that is where we're at. That's where a lot of players are. You just hitting Bama as a topic because they're Alabama. They're the biggest known brand in the world. You come in, the greatest coach to ever coach the game is just retired from there 2 years ago. They're going to get attention. They get more attention for losing than all these other programs do for winning. And that's not right, but it is what it is. That's what people want to talk about. So what is the why? I told those guys, I said, hey, you need to know, you need to have a why. Why do you even play football? Just showing up in that jersey, wearing that crimson helmet, that's not a win. There's so many players over the past 80 to 100 years that just people were scared to get off the bus to play Bama, man. Ask other fan bases. I've heard Auburn fans talk about it, Tennessee, Florida, LSU. They can go around yak and put stuff on Facebook and blab about whatever, and their team's, won one game and they're fired up and they got their national championship contenders now out of the blue. They've been relevant in 5, 10, 20 years. But the facts are, this is where we're at. And everybody's got to have a why. Everybody's got to have a why. So that's kind of that. And I'm tired of it's kind of like I'm defending them, and I'm not really defending the coaches. I've said the other day, they all have to answer. I just want them to play a standard of college football. To heck with trying to meet the Bama standard. Ain't no need to talk about that. You got to find that dog in you. You got to find the guys that are mean enough to really want to go out there and really put their lives literally on the line. That jogging around stuff. McCarron was on the sidelines, and AJ said, man, when they scored first, nobody really even cared. Freeze said it too. When Auburn went down and scored against Baylor, Freeze said in the post game, he said, I don't know if we worked them too hard this week, or maybe it was the weather. Maybe it's the same for Bama. The weather was dreary and it rained on them. Auburn was in Waco. Freeze said maybe it was hot. Did we have too big of a practice? Did we work them too much? He said we're loading the bus after the game, and they're not really even excited about. Same thing. Ole Miss, I heard the same thing on the Ole Miss podcast. The players were just like, well, we won, and I think they got a lot of other stuff to do on their mind. They got phones and stuff to do. They got games to play. It's just become, because there's more than 50% of players out there that are they're hired guns. We're just paying guys to come assemble and play for a year and right off in the sunset. No, I don't do coping mechanisms. Those things are for loser fans of loser programs that hadn't had a winning season in the past, hardly in this decade. Coping means you have a real serious problem. Alabama don't have a problem. They still have an identity. It's one game. I know most fan bases will burn the program down because they don't win football games. Their average winning streak is like 2, and then they lose 4 in a row. For some programs, and if you're not a fan of a winning program, then you don't know. So you really don't know. So you're just saying stuff just to, that's fine, be funny, and we're just yakking, and that's cool, and it's funny. But if you call me out personally, no, that's not true. Because to cope with something means that you're upset, and it don't affect my life at all. I'm just giving psychological advice to players that I've been around or coached. If you've coached or you've played this position or sport, then then you would understand it, and that's what makes it different. So coping, no, not at all. Overall, in general, I think Alabama will be okay. They're going to still win the games they need to win. They had a bad day, it's a game. It's different now. It's a new era. New coaches, new way to do things, and they're adjusting to it because you had the gatekeeper, the greatest to ever do it, in the locker room, and now Pawpaw's gone. Pawpaw would go get the belt and go get the switch and whoop your tail. Now stepdad's in the locker room. It's a little bit different. It's going to take some time to adjust. That's why the failure of your program has been such a huge failure, because there's been different people in the locker room every year or two. Because the boosters control that program. That's why they've been a failure. That's why they've got one legitimate national championship. That's just the truth. Now, you can cope with that. Ben says, Alabama better get there because the first SEC game is Georgia. Yeah, I look forward to that game. I think Stockton, it's hard to – again, I think I've said this 10 times, and I'm sorry. I apologize, people. I said it's hard to tell week one. It is hard to tell. It's just week one. We don't know. Stockton did look good. Georgia, if they figure the run game out, hats off to them. They should have a good run at it because we trust Kirby. He's been there long enough, 2-time champ. However he got them, that's cool. And to have 2 more practice games, I think too, Ben, they'll either figure it out or they won't. And if they don't, then the sun's going to come up tomorrow. If Bama playing Georgia this weekend, you think they would lose? Well, and here's the weird thing about college football. Jeff, you could be right or wrong. I think hardly predicting these games so early in the season right now, it's just such a different game, man. It's like trying to figure out calculus. I mean, you have imaginary numbers and how things are. It's hard to figure out the season, man. We're trying to guess. I mean, you have to study to even find out who these players are half the time. We just don't know. Ben says that Thompson is 1-3 against Georgia high schools. Yeah, they had a good one. Steven says that Bama's schedule doesn't look too promising if they play oh, absolutely. 100,000% agree. Yeah, if they play how they did, shit, they'll lose Saturday. They won't beat Monroe. If they play how they did, it don't matter who it is. If you're literally walking fast, you know when you're going across the road, you see somebody going across and you stop and you're like, oh, come on. Then they're like, oh, okay. And they walk fast, and their little shoulders up and down. That's what Bama look like, their players. They're walking around. If that's the best they got, then that's the end of it for them then. They've got to decide what they want to do. So, yes, I agree. TCU, spoiled Bill down Texas, North Carolina. Yeah. Bill is just not – he's not emotional either. When he was at New England, he was the Darth Vader with the hood up and it's snowing, and he's just grouchy. And, I mean, he's got like a 25-year-old wife. She's a beautiful lady, and he's just – I don't know if he's – some people say Twitter space, which is about as worthless as a preseason college football poll. He's coming to North Carolina, and they hired DeBoer, and they wanted Bill to come because Saban had talked about it, and he didn't want to let go in time. And Nick's like, well, I'm leaving, so hang on another year or two, and I'll come take over. And I've read that. I promise you, and y'all can laugh. That's fine. It's just crap you hear online. You hear all kind of dumb crap. That he's waiting for another year, see how DeBoer does. They're thinking, if he's going to win, he's going to win 9 or 10 games or so and go to a playoff, maybe whatever. They're going to probably leave him alone. But if he starts going like 6-6 for a year or two, they're going to run him off. And that Belichick is waiting to take the Bama job. I think no on Belichick. No, I'm just not a fan. But, Matt, he's won. I don't care. This is a young man's game. The better college coaches are younger. They're my age or younger. They're 50 and behind. They're not 75 and 80. Come on, man. Stop doing that. Let them go retire. Leave them alone. My pick before DeBoer was hired, number one phone call, and they did call him, supposedly, is Lane Kiffin. That's who I'm calling. Dude, you're replacing the greatest of all time. They ain't nobody crazy enough but Lane Kiffin. He is just goofy enough. And, hey, go get your popcorn ready. Drop the mic down. That ain't nobody talk like that on the camera. He's just smart alecky enough, and I like Lane. I can't help it who I like or don't. That's who I wanted Bama to hire was Lane because he'd already been there. He'd been in that locker room. He'd been in that analyst board. He'd been in film study. He worked under Nick for years. He knew what he had seen, what that process is to win those games and to be competitive and play for an SEC championship, which will, if you win the SEC, you're getting a shot at the national championship more than likely. And he's got a better chance at that at Alabama than he does Ole Miss. That's who I'm going after. Now, Dan Lanning wouldn't have been a bad hire. I don't like Norvell. I didn't like how he let the guys get away from him down at Florida State. That's just me. That don't mean it's right or wrong answer. It's just my opinion. Jeff says that the one thing that he's noticed is that Bama needs to fundamentals and God, yeah. That's the easy one, Jeff. I mean, that's like telling baseball guys, get your freaking glove on the ground. Alabama's favored by 5 touchdowns against La Monroe. Anybody who replaces the legend, Jeff says, has to possibly. Oh yeah, I mean, you're replacing the guy that's won more games than anybody ever. I mean, he's won more titles. He's won as much as Bear did there. That's crazy. And Nick did it on scholarship restrictions. Bear did it when it's just free open game. It's insane. And some of those titles, he got a lot lucky through the years. So Alabama is favored by 5 touchdowns. Let me give you some news about that. And then we're going to talk about Auburn here, and we'll get off. What we got? Yeah, we don't need about 10 more minutes. We can't stay on here all night. If y'all want to, we will. I'll stay. I don't care. We'll stay on as long as y'all want to hang out and talk football. I'm game. But I know people's got stuff to do. 37-point favorite. SEC Network. Alabama's going to kick it off and play. Louisiana Monroe. They beat St. Francis of PA 29-0 this past weekend. They had 327 yards rushing, 123 yards passing. This team is not a joke. I'm telling you, La Monroe is not a joke. Matt, you're just trying to prop it up so if Bama don't play good. I'm just telling you, it kind of pees me off, and I've kind of got over it. It's saying that if you're a fan of Alabama, which I got Auburn and Georgia and Alabama stuff, I cover all these teams closely. Now we talk about all of them. You can't have a correct facts. I'm just telling you what's happened. You can decide if they're good or not. To me, this team's not a blow-away team. They're not. I don't see them blowing them out 55-0. I don't care if Saban was coaching. I'm doing the same thing Nick would do. He'd talk about the other team and what kind of players they had. They rushed for 327, had 123 passing. Their wide receivers, Griffin, Godfrey, and McReynolds, they're good football players. The running back, this McReynolds kid, caught balls and rushed the ball. He's from McGill-Toolen, played down there at Mobile. He was a 3-star guy at high school. He rushed for 120 yards Saturday. This other guy, Reed Jr., you're going to see him on there. And Adon Armada, he ran a touchdown and the quarterback had a passing touchdown also. Aiden Armonte. You're going to see the name on the back of the jersey. Now, what are you saying, Matt? Why are you saying they're pretty good? Well, you go back and see the games they won. He's been there for a couple of years now. Coach Vincent, I mentioned him to open the show. We're going to just mention him. We'll spend 30 seconds on this. Hang on. This is, if you know football, and not everybody watching knows this, but there's some coaches, and I know one, and their style of coaching and how they do things, they win. Coach Vincent coached under Bill Clark at UAB. There's another coach, the guy down at Coosa, O'Brien. Mark come from under all them. And whatever it is, like that Belichick tree, or the Bill, what's his name, where Belichick and Saban come from, Parcells, those coaches under them people, you look down, they're good. They always just win. Where they go, they figure out how to turn stuff up and win. Coach Vincent coached under Bill Clark at UAB. He actually took over the program as intern when Coach Clark left UAB. He has the best record at La Monroe they've had in nearly 40 years. The only Sun Belt Conference coach, I think, ever. Last year, he was the Bear Bryant Coach of the Year award winner. 2024. I'm just reading off his page. You can go find it. Okay, you can look it up for yourself. And also, the tailback Hardy at Missouri, guess where he come from? He come from La Monroe. He turned him into a top running back that won all the accolades and awards over there through their conference. So he started out, he's about my age, went to West Alabama in 96 and 97, been everywhere from Charles Henderson High School to Alabama, turned them around in 1 year. In Spain Park, they took them to state, and then the next year, I think they won it. Went to Greenville. I know it's Spanish Fort there from 07 to 10. This is Coach Vincent at La Monroe. They won it. He was at South Alabama. He coached tight ends back in 2011. And 12 and 13, he stayed there. He changed to the quarterback coach. And then 14 till 15, he was there for that year. He helped run the quarterbacks for Coach Clark and was the intern coach. Went back to South Alabama to be the assistant head coach and run the offense. He was around that time when Womack was there. Same people. Then he went back to UAB in 2018 and 21 and was offensive quarterback coach, and he was intern. That's when Coach Clark was there, and he left 22. And he was interim coach. And then he went the next year, he was the offensive coordinator at New Mexico. And now Coach Bryant Vincent, the head coach at Louisiana Monroe. I'm just saying. I don't think they're going to just go out there and beat them 55-0. If I had some money, which I don't, that 47-point, I would nearly put money on that. I don't know if Bama will beat them by 47. Not unless they really, really had a big change of heart or something, or just decided they're going to quit walking around and like, okay, we scored, yay. We're just going to go out here and finish the game now. Oh, crap, they're already playing. Like they were drunk or something. You know, I don't know if they partied too much the night before, and there's things that go on that we don't know about, you know, at colleges. Like LSU showed up that night at the title game, and what's his name, the quarterback, Russell Feinbaum, found his wallet down there on Easy Street in Louisiana. At 1 a.m, he was laid out on the table, passed out. Feinbaum was going back to his room. It was like midnight or 1. Feinbaum's told the story. So, and, you know, Bama shut them out and beat the crap out of them. That's the night that they didn't get past the 50-yard line all night long. The Bama kids went to sleep. He was out at midnight drinking, passed out on the table. So, was that some reason they played bad? I don't know, dude. Or some of them banged up still. We got a lot of guys hurt from practice. Is that some of what was going on too? But I'm just saying. You can't judge a book by its cover. Now, so that's La Monroe. And that's Coach Vincent. He's a good coach, man. I look at his record. Look where he come from. I'm just basing off of what I see and what I know. These other coaches that worked under him, where'd they go? Where'd they go do? And I know these other coaches and where they went. They're from Clemson to UAB to Gadsden, and they wherever they're at, these guys win. So, and this guy's part of that same tree, sort of. I mean, still under Coach Clark. Now Auburn is a 43-point favorite over Ball State. They'll be on 6:30. They'll kick off a little bit before Bama does. Bama's going to be on SEC Network 6:45. Auburn will come on a little before on ESPNU. Be playing the old Ball State. Ball State is a known football program. They've had some years back, 6 or 7 before COVID. I think they won the conference or something. If you watch JB and Smitty's show, Smitty played there at Ball State then. It's like maybe his sophomore or junior year, they had a pretty good run. That's probably like 16 or 17. So they know how to play football. Ball State recruits pretty well. They're not going to beat really no SEC team really, but they're going to show up and play hard. And I'm sure for the first quarter, you know, that Auburn gets the ball first, I'd assume they'd probably go down and score. But just don't be surprised if Ball State goes down and scores too. See what I'm saying? I ain't saying they're going to score a bunch of points, but they're not a Austin P. Man, Georgia's playing Austin P. I was at JSU when they played in there for national championship. That was like my senior year at Jacksonville. So I was in some of the classes with those players and stuff. We played Austin P for homecoming. I took Marcus I'd get him my student ID, and I'd watch the Michael Fanning played there then. I had a sociology class with him, and we'd go to the games. Austin, not unless they've turned up. Their logo looks like the Monopoly guy with a hat and the little one glass eye thing. If anybody's from Austin P watching, I apologize. They just ain't never been really good at football. Georgia's turn, man. Come on. It's good for them because they need the money, man. Their band needs money, and they got stuff they need to pay for too. Okay, I'm sorry. Come on, Georgia. This has got to go away. Marshall's bad enough. I mean, they're a known program at least, but Austin P. Come on, man. So Auburn, 6:30, Alabama 6:45, ESPNU for Auburn, Bama's own SEC network. I've griped about fans at Alabama. I'm just kind of done talking about it. You can think whatever you want to and be a fan of whoever you want to be a fan of and cheer for however you want to cheer. I'm just saying I ain't going to listen to it because I think it's all fodder. It's wet powder. They just don't make no sense. Number one, it don't make your day no better just to gripe about a guy you don't know and he don't know you and don't give a crap about you. Neither does Nick Saban. He don't know who you are or what side of the bed you have to get up and go to work. I'm going to get up at 4 o'clock and go work. So that aspect on a huge macro level, it's silly. Now on a micro level, it's good. It's fun to talk about, and I love doing it because it helps pay the bills. But don't get too crazy. You're talking about firing people and losing their job. What if somebody said they want to fire you at your job? You wouldn't, well, if I wasn't doing my job, by God, they tell, oh, come on, bro. Like you go to work every day and show up and you just run it right down the middle. And by God, you do everything right. Shut up. No, we don't. He's the stepdad that's had to take over an orphanage of a bunch of spoiled kids and spoiled people that work there, like fans, that were used to eating the best soups you can have and lobster for breakfast and steak for dinner with golden spoons, and Rolls Royce is coming to pick you up and take you around a corner to go to the store and to the bathroom, wipe your butt with gold leaf toilet paper. Now, you ain't got the gold leaf toilet paper. You still got a nice school, but these fans are used to the gold spoon. And you feel like that's been taken away from you and your life's changed. Now, on the other side, I do understand medium and low income people. Oh, it's me. It's all some people have, man. They live to watch Auburn play football on Saturday. They don't have a lot going on, man. They don't have a lot of, I'm serious. They don't have a lot of food in their house. They work every day and pay their bills and try to get by. And I'm trying to play on your sympathy a little bit. So I'm just telling you, I understand. People live to see Alabama play. Jeff lives to see. Jeff's been an Ohio State fan, Jeff, for how long? More than 50 years. He loves watching them play. Win or lose, he gets mad when they lose, and he's happy when they win. I understand all that. But to just yakking about, fire DeBoer, and he's a joke. Womack, what kind of defense is he running? I mean, you got people up there on the line that don't know what's – yeah, I know they played bad. Okay. Last point. 1 hour. Good. We're at a good stopping spot. Okay, we're going to fire DeBoer. Well, that's what we're doing. All right. $70 million. $70 million. All right, now we got to pay out his assistants. 6 assistants at some of them be 2 of them. Let's see, 40. There's 120 plus 5 more. That'd be 170 million. This buys assist. All right, about 180 to 200 million. All right, so we need $200 million to buy him out and his assistants. Okay, because they got to go too. Now we're gonna fire him. We're firing everybody. Now, who do you want? Well, we want Lane Kiffin. All right, I'm good with that. All right, what's Lane's buyout? Well, I got to tell you what, we got it's 2025. We got a daggone computer. I'm looking at it. Lane Kiffin's buyout at Ole Miss. Okay, approximately $36.6 million if fired by the end of this year, November of last year, but the amount decreased by $1 million annually, so $1.5 million by 20. So unit until it settles at $1.5 million January. Kevin's contract includes a clause that he is entitled 80% of his remaining. So $35 million would buy. Okay, it levels off at $30 million if fired. All right, let's say $30 million. All right, so Lane Kiffin's buyout. We're going to buy Lane Kiffin. We got to pay his contract out. I'm with it. Let's go. There's $30 million. Now you got to. He wants to bring some of his staff with him. His offensive coach was Nix, which he's at Auburn now, and he was supposed to be taking a head offensive job, but he didn't because Freeze calls the plays. But they say that Nix does, but he really don't. But they say that he does because he had a clause in his contract that Nix couldn't leave Ole Miss to go anywhere for the same job, and he actually did. But they kind of lie about it and say that he calls the plays, and we know that Freeze is calling the plays. But that don't matter. We're talking about buying Lane, $30 million, and staff 7. There'll be 4 of them. 7, 4 fours is 160. 1.16 million, so 70. All right, for $70 million, what we just spent to fire DeBoer. That'll get us a head coach and 2 assistants. So we may be on the good on that. Now, we've already spent $200 million. Now, remember, we had to buy out DeBoer and all his staff. Okay, hang on. So then we're rinsing and repeating. So we're going to spend another 150. So that's 350 about. Okay, firing DeBoer. He's gone. Staff done. 350 to 400 million. $500 million, basically, somewhat a little under, to then hire a Lane Kiffin and new staff, firing, paying off, and rehiring, paying those guys. Got you. So you're ready to spend $400 million. I say keep the $400 million and buy freaking players and put it in that fund that goes in the NIL fund that you can get kids NIL deals. Like Brian's got a deal with Nike, and Jim's got a deal with Beats earphones. Use that money to help keep good players. He's a good enough coach to figure out how to win games. He's got the guys. It's one game. Why are we so blowed up on one game? If you've won game 1, it's one game. You lost your first game. It's the first game. This is second year. Pawpaw's gone. The stepdad's standing in there, and they're not all. Some of the kids were still Pawpaw's favorites. Pawpaw used to give all them little Werther's candies. They're leaving, going to Helms, and stepdad's bringing in some new ones, but they're still used to Pawpaw giving them the little Werthers. You know, you had one Pawpaw on your mama and your daddy's side, and one of them did stuff, and the other one didn't. One of mine liked to shoot shotguns, and we'd go out in the woods and shoot squirrel, and the other one would set me up in his lap, and we'd drive tractor or learn how to drive equipment, backhoes. Enjoyed both. But they're different. They're freaking different. Stop comparing anybody to Nick Saban. He's the greatest to ever do it, bro. In this era of football, ain't nobody done it better. Stop saying, well, by God, when Saban was there, I tell you what. No, Saban wasn't perfect games. I'll give you real life, tangible evidence Sunday night. Go back and look up these games. Saban lost to Clemson. Go back and look at the games he lost during the seasons. How many undefeated seasons did he have? I think the only undefeated title run year was he had, is it one? I think it was once or maybe twice. You're going to fiddle far around and stumble along and lose games. But Matt ain't lost opening game 23. I know it's the first game. Because over all those 23 years, how many times does Alabama play besides the last 10 probably? So the first 13, they were playing La Monroe or Austin Peay to open the season. And when we was playing these teams like Clemson open the season Chick-fil-A Bowl, Mark Ingram's first year, they wasn't no good. Who's a really good team we played opening game? That USC team, how many games they going to win that year? 6? Stop comparing them. Just you're either a fan of Saban or you're a fan of the Tide. It's one of the two. He's gone. He's dead, buried. The dynasty's over. They won't never be another dynasty like Alabama. Auburn, you hoping for it? No. Bonk. Georgia, you hoping for it? No, it's not going to happen. No team is going to come in for over the next 7-8 years and just 8 years they're going to win 4 titles or 3. It's not. It's just different. Kids don't have to hang around. They can hit the door. I don't want to stay. I don't want to stay and grind and be the 5-star backup. I know I'm better. I'm a darn junior. Why is this freshman playing over me? Because he's better. So you need to get better. It drives each other. That's how my teams are good, because they banging on each other, making each other better. That's why football's different now, because they don't. Not everybody, but a lot. Like this NIL's earned it. All the kids get money. Not all of them get money, stupid. Not all the kids get paid. Not all of them do. Some of the linemen, they have like a $10,000 a month fund, $5,000. They get some money, but ain't nothing like QBs and receivers. They're the ones getting paid. The money didn't run it. Kids have always got paid. You don't think the big name kids that go to these big colleges don't get money and cards and stuff? Absolutely they do. Stop. You've got to move on. You got to get over it. It just seems, I don't know, I'm just different. I just got to quit talking about it. It just seems kind of childish. I wasn't the biggest Nick Saban fan even when he even came to Alabama. I appreciate him for what he done for the university that I'm just hadn't be a fan of. I'm an alum of JSU. My mom is too. So is my dad. We're Jacksonville State people. But I've always been a Bama fan, and granddaddy watched them, and my family watched them, and some of my other cousins went to Auburn, were Auburn fans, and that's fun too. Stop saying fire DeBoer. It's one game. Well, in the statistical analysis, let me put my Poindexter pen in my pockets. In 3.76%, DeBoer has only won one of the 64 and 2.3 carried to the X and XY chromosome games, ranked out of the top 24, and then you divide it by the other 6 games. He's only really won this many games. He's 2-14 again. Shut up. It's one game. Why are we doing statistical analysis for a team you don't even like? You don't even care about them, but they're in your head because you want to be them. Who cares? Bro, move on. Bama fans, we're not firing DeBoer. There needs to be adjustments. Those are still not all his guys. Remember playing. If you played, remember playing, and you had a big coaching change. You know who was my coach our senior year? I didn't play because I thought he was crazy. And I've told him this story. Steve Smith, Hall of Fame, went to Piedmont, winner. It's Westbrook Christian now. He comes to Cedar Bluff my senior year. It was a change from Coach Bullen. Young guy, fired up. Coach Smith was fired up. It's different. I didn't know what to do. I was like, man, this guy, I ain't playing for him. He's crazy. It's different. If you ain't been in experienced anything like that at work, you lose a supervisor, you get a new supervisor. It's just different. It takes a little time. They got to trust him enough you're kind of trusting your life with him physically, mentally, financially, all three stages of life, you're trusting this coach. You see him a lot. He's got your money tied up. If you don't get a good grade here and there for your pro grading, physically, you get out there and get hurt in a game, they do have insurance. Players do have insurance. They do. And he gets blowed out. I think it's $200,000 or $150,000. All aspects. Just calm down. For God's sake, man. Stop comparing him to Nick Saban. Don't ever compare anybody. The only time you should even say Nick Saban is I remember watching a game when Saban was coaching. Okay. But don't then carry it up and follow it up with a point to say, well, DeBoer, that's not the same people. It's not even alphabetically. You can't even scramble his name and make the other one's name. Shut up about it. Womack's not Kirby. If he was, he would have his own team like Kirby's doing. He's a young defensive coach. His defensive scheme has not a freaking thing to do with how the dang kids run. What does that have to do with that? So so the player's effort, you know everything. The player's effort has to do with the play called. We're running a bear twist 49 tango. Okay. Oh, is this the play? This is what Hubbard asked. Is this the play where I jog down the field to make a tackle? No. Nobody's saying that. Stop freaking out, man. They loaf and they dragging their tails and they didn't play inspired. This is the last thing. These players, just imagine this. They're 18 to 23 or 4. Their whole life, they have never seen or heard anything but Bama winning. They have got complacent, and it's extremely hard. And Nick Saban lost control of it his last 2 or 3 years. Don't lie. If you're a Bama fan, listen. To hold that complacency and not riding highs and lows, but he had to keep them on an even keel to play faceless opponents. He's the best at doing it, and he was having trouble holding on to that. He was trying to hold on to that tradition of the game, and he told people this NIL stuff and portal, well, Jack, it's going to change the game. It's going to change the game. You better put some guidance stones out there. They're not the same. They're not the same coaches, and how they coach and how things are going. What are you supposed to do? Do you think DeBoer is going out there and going, you know what? I think I'm just ready. We're going to lose this. We're going to try to lose the game. Hey, Grubb, call that crazy play or we don't score. That's stupid. Who's saying that? Why would he? Nobody's saying that. These high school coaches, too, they get people, they lose a game, and you're like you don't want to win. It's hard to motivate kids. You're taking a group of young men or kids and trying to get them to march in one direction. It's freaking hard. I've done it in the classroom with 40 or 50 kids. It's hard to keep them all on the same thing. Imagine at college trying to do it. And at practice, you got assistants and you got to trust them. And you got to go chew their butts. Hey, man, you're not doing your job. Our line is terrible. Freddie Roach, defensive line coach, and then the other guy, the offensive line coach that's come from Michigan State, he's terrible. It's 2 years. He's not done. I think he come January last year. Slavics or something. He's got I don't know, Ukrainian name. I'm just telling you, you got to get off this wagon and stop drowning the board for stuff that he's got to take control of it. And just because he don't scream and holler and rant and rave like your pawpaw does and your goat coach, that don't mean he's bad. Not everybody has to scream and holler to get their point across. I'm an exciting kind of guy. When I coached, I got into it. I'd holler. But that don't mean it's right or wrong. That's crazy. I'm done talking about it.